Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, after the fallout from the Champions League final and the treatment of the British fans who went to go and watch Liverpool play Real Madrid. Now, don't you ask yourself, why it was that the Real Madrid supporters wasn't battered and beaten by the police in the same way how the Brits was. I mean, the British fans, right, wasn't getting up to they wasn't getting up to anything, right? But still, the police just chose, you know what, we're just going to batter these people, right? Because it's the way how people see us abroad. Britain, especially the English. The English are not, and unfortunately, that reputation has been put over to the rest of the Brits, right? So the rest of the Brits will, because you're from Britain, so as far as they're concerned, right, you're scum, and they're gonna beat the hell out of you, as far as they're concerned, you know. Even in this country, right, we have the amount of white people I'm hearing now saying, you know what, I'm ashamed of being English, ashamed of it, right? I can't recall, hearing an American, black, white, or brown, an American, right, turn around and say that they're ashamed of being an American. I can't recall ever hearing that, but so many people now, because you know me, I've been ashamed of being like English from like it's probably more so from since the vote, but to leave the EU, but from since the Tories come in, because the Tories have changed this country, into into just a complete and utter racist place. Right. So from since they've come in, right, the change has come in me. If I'm a, if I was with, in the EU or whatever, right, and and I was to see like these foreign police officers beating up Brits, I'd be like, these English, right, they can never behave themselves wherever they go. Right. In the Gambia, we would never behave like that. I'm from the Gambia, right? Oh, right. I would just look and say like, rascal like English people them. Every time them come over to Europe, them want to come fuck up the place. Them couldn't act like that if them were West Indian. Right? So I've got those options when I go into the EU. It's like, no, I'm not from England. I'm from the Gambia. I'm a West Indian, right? Because so much people are just ashamed to be English, right? And I think that the English really need to take a strong, hard look at themselves and wonder how the hell they've got into that situation, right? After, right, there's been so many of us who was proud black English, right? How have you got into this situation? I'm going to tell you about that later, how they got in that situation. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages sent me. And a special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can. But I will like all your messages for definite. And it seems that Boris Johnson is secretly worried about the fallout from the Sue Gray report. Because at the moment, we've got like around 3 to 5 MPs a day who are putting in their letters, and obviously they have to get up to 54 letters. But then they still have to, if they have a vote, they still have to get, like, I think it's about 173, 174, something like that. It's 100 or maybe 180. They have to get to before they can sling his ass out and change the prime minister, right? But he's been phoning around all the MPs to try and get them on side to see if he can say, you know what, please come on, man, this but I don't understand how even more letters. I don't understand how 300 letters haven't gone in yet. Right, that's what I don't understand. You know what I mean? Especially with how people are speaking about the whole Partygate and all that shit. Do you know what I mean? How they're speaking about it, because remember, that it's so serious for some people because they lost their loved ones, right? While these people in Downing Street was acting like a bunch of fucking idiots from the Bullingdon Club, right? So so people are really angry about it. So I don't understand how it's only very few, as far as I can see, only very few letters have been sent in so far. Even Squarehead Andrew Bridgen has resent his letter back in now because he said I can no longer take this bullshit, right? This motherfucker has to go, right? Because all he's doing is he's just doing bare damage, right, to the Tory party, and that's true. Because I mean, I think there's a lot of like really young people, really youngsters who probably can't vote yet, who this is going to be burnt into their mind from the Tories, from what they got from the Tories out of this period of their life, right? And if your child and all you're doing is worrying about your parents, right? I can't see how you could look at the Tories, especially if your parents have made the children aware. You know what? It's because of the damn Tories why our life is a big bag of shit. Right? If your parents have made it aware to the children that that's the case, then you know what? It's not going to go down very well for the Tories. This whole period has just been it's just been really whack for them. And NHS doctors, right, are complaining about people missing appointments, and they're saying it's costing them so much money when people miss appointments, and they're getting so annoyed about it. And I say to them, you're chatting a load of fucking bullshit. Because I have never ever been to the doctors, right, and had my appointment on time. Never. Right? If my appointment's 10:15, right, sometimes I've been seen as late as 11 o'clock. So these people are always running behind. So how, right, does a missed appointment make any difference to you if you're always running behind? Right, because I mean, if you've been to a dentist and doctors, if you've been to a doctor's like GPs, that's what we're talking about. GPs here. We're not talking about hospitals. We're talking about GPs, right? So if you've been to a GP's, right, or a dentist, have you ever gone in, right? Your appointment's at 10:25. Did you go in at 10:25, right? Or did you go in at 10:30, 10:35, 10:40, 10:50, right? Because that always seems to be the way. So I just don't understand, how they talk. I think it's just them just making excuses. Because unless they're saying, well, everyone who comes in, they get their appointment on time. And I've never known a doctor's surgery run like that. In my whole life, I've never known a doctor's surgery run like that at all. So unless they're saying that, and I know for a fact that that's not the case. So I just want to know how it is, right, that everybody must know this in this country, right? But still, people are saying, well, because I just think people should say to the doctors, hold on a minute, come on, right, be serious now, right? We can never get our appointments on time anyway. So how can you possibly, right? What is it? You're waiting over your lunch break, or you're waiting behind because someone's missed their 5 o'clock appointment, and you finish you close at 5:30. Someone's missed their 5 o'clock appointment, so now you have to wait for them to turn up. No, right? As 5:30 comes, you just close your doors and you're gone. You're not gonna wait for them. Right? So I just think it's just another thing what they're just using as an excuse. The government have commissioned a report on racism in Britain, and they don't seem to like the results of the report that they've found, because the reports have showed that they've had 30 years, right, of deliberate policies, right, aimed at black and brown people to make it a hostile environment so they would not want to live in Great Britain. Now, this is something that we've always suspected. When I heard this report yesterday, I got a punch in the guts, and my guts was just like, my guts was talking to me, and it's just like, well, hold on a minute, you've known all this, you've known this for a long time, right? So deliberate policies, right? A hostile environment against people like me who was born in this country, right? And they wanted to get us out of this country, for us to go to places where we have no clue about the culture of those places where they want to send us to. We know from our parents, or if our parents have taken us there on holidays and stuff like that, we would know from there. But we have no real clue about about those places where they wanted to send us back to, right? Or send us to, because we're born here, so you can't send us back to somewhere where we wasn't born, right? So they've had these deliberate policies. So you're talking about education, you're talking about healthcare, right? Jobs. You're talking about everything. The police. So there's been a 30-year period where these people have set the police onto us, right? And I've always been under the impression, right, that every single police officer I've met wants to don't take me literally when I say every single police officer, but I've met have wanted to criminalise me, and I've always got that sense from them. And now I know why I've had that sense from them, because that's what they've been doing. They've been sent out by the government to deliberately do that. Right? This was because the government have had this report for 2 years, right? They commissioned the report. They've had it sat on a desk for 2 years, right? And I think it got passed around to the civil servants about a year ago, right? And obviously nothing's been said about it. But obviously they brought out the Saul report where they said where it said, oh, there's no Britain is not a racist. It's no longer a racist place. So they've got a few coons, right, to write that report, right, for them, right. Must be Professor Saul, whatever his name is. I don't know what it's Saul. It's the Saul report. So whatever whoever he is, right. And they had some other. I can always remember they had some black guy dressed up in military stuff. You could see him, like, I think there was a picture of him somewhere with the royals or something like that, and looking for myself, well, those people don't represent us. What, because they're black? You think they just because they're black? They don't represent us. A lot of those people, yeah, they haven't been black since they touched down in this country in the 1960s. A lot of those, right? So they put out the Saul report. But this report they've held back until Amelia Gentleman, found this report and then obviously published it. And I tell you, this report just makes for just horrible reading, because as a black person, when right, and black and brown people, when right, the governments, right, have been deliberately doing these things. Right. So they've been deliberately making sure that, like, it's hostile between us and white people. Right. So you've got deliberate stories putting out there by the government. They deliberately sent the police out after us. They deliberately, tried to miseducate us in schools. They made it hostile for black boys and black girls in school, so that if they bunk school or whatever, then don't worry about it. Just leave them. Bunk school. Don't even send a truant officer to their house or anything like that. So everything that these people have been doing has just been like a deliberate act, and it's just really, it's really, really sad. It's just like, to actually know and find out. Actually, there's a report out there that tells you, but it can focus and tell you, this is what these people was doing to you all the time. It's not down to you people being more criminal than anybody else. This has been a definite, direct effort, right, to make it hostile, right, and to set all of these institutions against you, right? You know when they say they're institutionally racist, well, now I understand exactly what they mean, because when they're saying institutionally racist, before I was thinking, well, you know, institutions can't be racist because institutions are like buildings and books and but people in those institutions are the racists. And now we find out, no, the institution is actually racist. So it embraces the racism within the institution, but the institution itself is racist, and that is just a shame on previous governments. Right? And this government, not to release the report to the to out to the public. They should have released the report out to the public and said, "See, you see what the previous governments have been doing, and we've reported on this. We've let you know." Right? But no, they released Priti Patel on us. Hey, thank you very much, British governments. You fucking racist motherfucking shitbags. Police are taking 28 times longer to get to crimes, serious crimes, right? Over the last 6 years, right, the numbers have been just going south. Or if you're from south, they've been going north, right? But the numbers have been going the wrong way, right? And I still can't get over the other story yet. It's just like sickening, absolutely just sickening, right? But the police are having real problems, right? Because obviously the numbers have been cut, slashed to to numbers what they find it very, very difficult to police a population with the numbers what they've got, because in the last 12 years they've had about 21,000 of their numbers cut with police and support staff and all them, because remember all the PCSOs, they've all gone, haven't they? We haven't got any of them no more. They've all gone. So then a lot of the backroom staff and a lot of frontline officers have all gone. So Boris Johnson, if he wants to replace it to where it was before, you'd be talking about 35 to 40,000 to replace it to where it was before, right? So even replacing the 20,000 will only put him back to where he is, to where we are now, because that's the 20,000 is only because you got to remember all the shrinkage. So with the shrinkage, right, probably 20,000 will give us an excess of probably maybe 5,000. Right, so you're still probably 15,000 short anyway, right? So that's the reason why the police response time is so fucking crap, because of that bollocks, the bullshit, right? And the motherfucking right bozo, the clown that you racist fools voted in to run this once great nation. 11 to 18-year-olds are having concerns about the cost of living. They're worried about their parents, because their parents are having such a hard time with the cost of living crisis. Now all the kids are really concerned, and they're scared that they might get trapped their houses or their flats. Very strangely, right, I'm quite sure that this is something from out of the 70s. And if you remember, right, they told us that Jeremy Corbyn would take us back to the 1970s. So you tell me this, right? Why is it that right now we are discussing the problems in Ireland, right? And we are discussing grammar schools and imperial measurements. Right? Is that not the 1970s? Are we not back in the 1970s? But Jeremy Corbyn was supposed to take us back here. At least, if Jeremy Corbyn had taken us back here, he would have put some more money in our pockets. Right? Rather than take £37 billion and hand it out to his friends and his donors and his family and all that sort of bullshit. We're back in the 1970s and we haven't been taken there by Jeremy Corbyn. Oh dear, this world is crackers. Oh dear, oh You know, there's, I think there's two words here that's going to sum up Boris Johnson's premiership. Right now, hold on. The first one is ever. Yeah, so it's worst ever. And what was the second one? Chaos was the second one. So I mean, you can put them two words together, like worst ever chaos. But right, chaos is his middle name, right, and worst ever, right, with everything else, right. We've got chaos, right, at the airports at the moment. People are sleeping on the floor in some of the airports. People are taking duvets, blankets, and pillows to the air. Who takes, right? Who takes, right, bedding, right, on holiday? What are you gonna do with your bedding afterwards? You're sleeping on the floor in the. You're gonna do with your bedding because you know it's only gonna put your weight up. So are we going to have a load of bedding just left at the airport? What's going on with this? Listen, the absolute right worst ever service, right? And you know they are booking flights. I mean, a lot of the airlines, they're booking flights. They know they can't commit to. They know they can't. They know they can't get these flights out, right? They've taken people's money, right? Knowing that they can't. They can't. I remember once upon a time, yeah, we had some of the greatest services over here because remember again, right? A lot of the airline carriers they've gone like, into the EU and all that. People like Ryanair and all these places, they've all gone. Right, I don't know if they might still be operating here, but their headquarters are no longer here. So all these people, a lot of them have gone. So they're not. So Britain is no longer getting the service it was getting, and it can no longer attract the staff as well that it once upon a time used to. It can't attract them. You know, it used to attract a lot of like, really good staff from the EU to run the aviation services and all that as well. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the English and the British workers who used to work around it, they've all gone because now who the hell wants to get up here at like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning to go and like start stamping people's passports at 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, right? For what? For 11 or 12 pounds, right? When they can get a job with Amazon for 13 pounds £13 an hour. Do you know what I mean? And not have to work them horrible unsocial hours. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people have just moved on now, and remember a lot of these people they don't want to pay people proper money, so. Right, so they're finding it much more difficult. But a lot of these jobs, they're very unsocial jobs, right? Working in airports and them things there, right? And plus, you have to be properly security vetted and all them things. So it takes a long time to even get staff, right? Let alone right to retain them. Do you know what I mean? It takes a long, long time, So that's why the whole situation is just, and all of these things, right, is down to Boris Johnson. When I tell you, right, that Boris Johnson's done more than 100 years worth of damage to this country, your ass should try listening to me, right? You don't want to listen because people's head is too hardened. Right, and don't want to listen, but Boris Johnson has done more than 100 years worth of damage to this once great nation. Right, trust me on this. Right, just look at the state. You can't tell me, right, that these people didn't know that we've got what half term. What they didn't realise. What it's the first time it's come along. Come on, man, give me a fucking break. Right, all of this is't to the catastrophe that Boris Johnson has put this country in. He has fucked it up. Canadians are to ban the sale of handguns. Now they're like the Americans' closest brothers. Like the Scots are our closest brothers, right? And we're so damn racist, the English down here. We're so damn racist that the Scots want to get the hell away from us. In the same way, yeah, that the Canadians must look at the Americans and think to themselves, what the fuck is up with you people? Now they're saying, you know what, we're going to ban. I don't know if they're going to ban handguns altogether, but they're saying they're banning the sale of handguns. But that could be moving towards banning, the handguns. I know the guns are much more controlled in Canada as well. So if you look, then you look over to America, right? And the Republican senators who are taking millions and millions of dollars, right, off of the NRA, the National Rifle Association, the people who are okay with people running up into a school and murdering children, because it's in, like, someone like, Ted Cruz, that, right, I don't understand how anybody could vote for him, right? But it's in people that's interest, because they're taking money. They're taking money from these people, right, so that they can keep their death, right, their death weapons, right. They're taking money from people, right. So countless, all the Republican senators, they're all at it. They're all at it. I think, probably Dick Cheney's wife and the other one. God, what's his name? He's the other one who sat on the committee with her at the moment, right? The other Republican. Probably them two and maybe a few others who are not taking any money from, like, the NRA. But these people, right? They are some of the most callous and evil people. You cannot find more evil people than some of these people. They don't care about the Second Amendment. Right. It's all about taking money and putting money, lining their own pockets, right? While you have boys, right? Because it's mainly boys who do this. It's mainly young white boys who go into schools and murder children. Right. And then these people have the cheek and they have the audacity to turn around and talk about, how much they care about the sanctity of life, and they want to tell women what they can do with their own bodies, because they care so much about the unborn child, but they couldn't give a fuck about 9 and 10-year-olds murdered with their 2 fucking teachers. Just, and then when you hear about the true facts about what actually happened, the true facts are just like, it's horrendous. They was outside there, the parents was like screaming and shouting and trying to get into the school to go and save their children, and some of the parents got tasered by the police, held down and handcuffed, right? It's just like just unbelievable. And you've got 19 good guys with guns stood outside the door while, right, and now the true stories are coming out, because now they could hear it over the police radios, where they're saying there's children still inside there, and they're saying there's 8 children alive, there's 9 children alive, right? Please come in and help us, right? You can hear dispatch telling these police officers that they've got children on the line, telling them this while they're stood outside there with guns. But yet, for all, these Republicans expect teachers, right, to be armed, and teachers must take on these armed suspects who they're too afraid to go into the room to take on an 18-year-old who has got an AR-15. But yet, for all, teachers must do this. They're saying, oh, we arm the teachers. It's okay. Arm the teachers. Put armed guards in the school. Oh, they must do it. But the police, who are trained to do it, who have had actual training, right, in school shootings, every police officer in America, right, because just, can you imagine that every single kindergarten child, right, gets training, right, on an active shooter coming into the school? Can you imagine living in that environment? Can you imagine bringing up your children where you have to send your children to school where you know that they've got to have training for an active shooter? Our children in this country have to have training, right, for fire alarms. Yeah, for fire alarms. Something that could naturally occur. Not something that you can stop. If it's something you can stop, right, then your children shouldn't have to have training for it. You can't stop a fire, but you can stop bullets. Not with your body, but you can legislate to stop them. And let's talk about some Brexit. Because the Royal Mail are furious as companies are charging £150 for goods that are already owned by Brits. So the Royal Mail are pissed off about it, and they say, you know what, this shouldn't be going on. We didn't vote for this. I don't know how many people. Well, anyway, the Royal Mail's like a big. I mean, so a lot of the people who work for it would have voted for Brexit. But this is not really. Well, Or whether it's not going to affect them, but they're pissed off that there's companies out there who are just basically taking the piss and saying, you know what, yeah, these might be goods that you own already, but you still got to pay £150 tax on them. I don't know how they're even working that out. You know what I mean? Brexit's really ugly. It's a really ugly thing, Brexit is, right? And you know what? You know why that is? Because it was so fucking racist, and racist stuff is always ugly. Really, really bad. Really bad. Just like Trump would say, right? Jeremy Corbyn would be so bad. He would be so bad. Yeah, what the fuck do you think now, motherfuckers? Brexiters have given Boris Johnson 2,000 ideas, right, to obliterate EU rules. And they started with fracking. Alright, didn't realise that was an EU rule, that we must frack. But that's where they started, with fracking and the power of vacuum cleaners. Any bendy bananas in there? So are you fucking serious? You know what? Brexiters are stupid. I don't know if I've ever said that before, but I've just realised just this second, right? Brexiters are stupid. You Brexiters are very stupid people. You're also very racist, right? Not all of yous, of course, because I've been told off by someone last week, right? When I said because they seem to get the impression that I'm saying that all Brexiters, right, are racist, stupid. No. All Brexiters, right, are stupid. That's a definite. But they're not all racist. But the stupid sometimes follows the racist. So vacuum cleaners, bendy bananas, and fracking. That was part of the 2000, and that must be the really good ideas then, if that's the ones they put in the newspapers, because I just saw the first bit of it, and that's the ones that they come up with. So, okay, fair enough. If that's what's going to get you through your day, then good. The EU chiefs today will fly to Berlin to discuss the Irish protocol. And you know what I say to them, yeah? Mind your fucking business. Stop dealing with our business. Right? How dare you? Right? I'm getting pissed off, right, with all these other countries getting involved in our business. What the fuck do these people actually think they are? I'm getting to realise, yeah, how Iraq and and all these other countries must really feel, right, when people just start getting involved in your business and telling you what the fuck you can do inside your own motherfucking country. We left the EU, right, because of this shit. We left them because of this shit. And now, all of a sudden, these people are flying to fucking Berlin to discuss us. Fuck off! That's how we should really feel. But how do I feel about it? I just think to myself, you know something? It's all like sort of poetic justice, right? And for me, it's so fucking funny, because you know something? No one should be discussing Britain's business. No one should be telling us what the fuck we can and can't do. Who the fuck are these people to tell us what the fuck we can and can't do? We are supposed to be Great motherfucking Britain. And these people are treating us like a big pile of poop. Ministers have been backing imperial measures, saying it will bring Britain back to the Ministers are backing imperial measures. They're saying it will bring back the great British shop culture. And my friends, I've gone well over my time again, but not as far as I went yesterday. So small mercies, eh? This place, right? And I'm still really pissed off about the racist story about the report that the government made about that. I mean, that's gonna haunt me for just the longest of time. But anyway, guys, look, I have to bow out of here. So this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.